So last year I reviewed the first, second, third of the X-Men trilogy. So this year I'm reviewing two X-Men films as they call the prequels. So first up, X-Men Origins Wolverine. This film released in 2009. It's the first prequel spin-off in the X-Men film franchises. And it's the worst X-Men film I ever seen in my life. Why? I'm not gonna lie, because some of the scenes were boring, those special effects looked bad and cheesier. But the characters were great. So let's start with the new characters and their associated superpowers. Kayla Silverfox, known as Silver Fox, uses her ability to control people by touching. John Rath, known as Kestrel, uses teleportation and played by will.i.am. Fred Dukes, known as Blob, uses superhuman strength, endurance, durability, and resilience. Blob is played by Kevin Durant. Chris Briley, known as Bolt, uses to generate and control electric powers. David North, known as Agent Zero, uses sniper skills. Kayla's sister is Emma. Uses her power to turn her skin into diamonds, but it looks like Emma Frost, but that's not the real Emma Frost in this movie. But of course there's a real Emma Frost in X-Men First Class. Sorry. Remy LeBeau, known as Gambit, everyone's favorite character. But of course I like that character. Uses control and manipulation and of potential energy, doing card tricks and kinetic energy. But of course I'm excited to see Gambit movie in October 2016, but I'm pumped for that. Anyway, and last but not least is Wade Wilson, known as everyone's favorite character, Deadpool. He's a mutant killer. He uses healing powers, swordsman skill, and martial arts. Deadpool was played by Ryan Reynolds. But of course I'm super duper excited to see Deadpool movie in February 2016. But something's wrong in this movie. But I could explain. In cartoons, comic books, and video games, Deadpool had a cool costume, break the fourth wall, swords, gun weapons, jokes, and it was awesome. In the movie, well, he had a sword, but there's no gun weapons, cool costume, jokes, and even break the fourth wall. This is the most embarrassing moment in the X-Men franchises. So let's start the story, and warning, spoilers. In 1845 in Northwest Territories, Canada, a young boy named James Howlett, Wolverine's old name, with his half-brother Victor Creed, saw his father got killed by groundskeeper Thomas Logan. Uses his bone claws and killed Thomas Logan, but Thomas Logan is Wolverine and Sabretooth's father, and the boys ran away. In the opening credits, the boys are in the American Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War. Wow, how did they get old? But anyway, in 1969, Sabretooth kills a senior officer. Wolverine and Sabretooth was executed by firing squad, and they survived from a healing factor. Well, duh. In 1973, Wolverine and Sabretooth met a guy named Major William Stryker, but he looks older. In X2, Old Stryker, and in Days of Future Past, Young Stryker, but in the movie, he looks old indeed. Anyway, he brings Wolverine and Sabretooth to join the group called Team X, with Wade Wilson, Fred Dukes, Kestrel, Agent Zero, and Bolt. They went to Nigeria, and Agent Zero fires the Nigerian soldiers. He flipped two guns, pick up some bullets, and reloads them. That was cool. Stryker tells Fred to destroy the tank. The tank fires at Fred, but he uses his mighty fist to plug the tank's firing hole, and the tank explodes. Team X are in the elevator to go to the top of the floor, and the Nigerian soldiers are ready to fire the men when they arrive. And Stryker tells Wade to kill the soldiers. The elevator opens, Nigerian soldiers firing the guns, and Wade uses two swords to hit the bullets, slice a bullet, and he kills the soldiers. I'm not gonna lie, this scene was so cool. Stryker found adamantium when he asked the people, where did they find this? Wolverine tells Sabretooth to stop killing people, so Wolverine quits the team and he leaves. 6 years later. Sorry. Wolverine lives in Canada with Kayla Silverfox, a school teacher, and he works as a lumberjack. Meanwhile, at Springfield, Illinois, Bolt works at the carnival, but suddenly he got killed by Sabretooth, and Wolverine wakes up with anger, shouting because he had a nightmare. The next morning, Stryker told Wolverine that Bolt and Wade Wilson had been killed. The next day, Wolverine is working, Kayla is driving to work, but suddenly she saw Sabretooth, and Wolverine smells something that she's in trouble. Sabretooth has to kill Kayla. Wolverine is running faster to save Kayla from Sabretooth, but it was too late. Kayla was killed by Sabretooth, and Wolverine has to revenge his death. Later that night, when Sabretooth is in the bar, he saw Wolverine, and they fought for revenge. Round 1, fight! So they fight, and Sabretooth beats Wolverine, and he stepped and broke his own claws. Wolverine is in the hospital. Stryker was there, and he explains to him that Sabretooth has gone. Stryker has an idea to help Wolverine for revenge. He brings him to the lab, puts him in the water tub, and puts adamantium on his skeleton and claws. Wolverine feels angry. He rises out of the water with the mighty rage, and he escapes that he is naked. Wolverine runs to the Hudson's place. He's staying for a while. The next day, Hudson was killed by Agent Zero because Stryker wants him to catch Wolverine and take him to Stryker's lab. Wolverine rides a motorcycle to drive away from Agent Zero and his helicopter. Wolverine destroyed Agent Zero's helicopter, and Wolverine talks to Stryker and tells him that he's going to kill him in Sabretooth. Wolverine walks slowly with this awesome explosion scene. That was cool, man. Meanwhile, at high school, the teacher tells Cyclops to take off his glasses, but he can because and the teacher sends him to the detention after school. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, Wolverine visits Kestrel and he asks him where is Sabretooth, but he brings him to Blob and says that he's gaining weight. When Wolverine calls him Blob, he tackles him with the mighty rage. Kestrel had an idea, a boxing match between Wolverine and Blob, so they are fighting, and Wolverine uses strong elbow and smashes Blob with a KO. Meanwhile, at high school, Cyclops was at detention, but suddenly he was kidnapped by Stryker and Sabretooth. Wolverine asked Blob where is Sabretooth. He told him that Sabretooth is working with Stryker, and then tried to kidnap all mutants, because Stryker hates mutants, you know. He tells him about Gambit, that he was a former prisoner of Stryker for 2 years, and he was a poker player right now at casino. Wolverine is going after him with Kestrel to find Gambit. Wolverine and Kestrel went to casino. Wolverine is going to talk Gambit, and Kestrel is going to find Sabretooth. Wolverine talks to Gambit about Sabretooth and Stryker. Kestrel found Sabretooth, but suddenly he got killed by Sabretooth. Wolverine talks to Gambit about Stryker, and Gambit uses magic cards, hit Wolverine, and he breaks the wall. Wolverine saw Sabretooth, and they're ready for round 2. Fight! So they're fighting, and Wolverine stabs Sabretooth, and he's ready to finish him. But Gambit interrupts the fighting because he uses a stick, taps the ground, and boom! There's an explosion, but no flames. Sabretooth runs away, and Wolverine and Gambit are fighting. Wolverine defeats him, and Gambit was taking him to Stryker's facility on 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. Stryker was creating a Weapon 11, a mutant killer. He refers to him as Deadpool. Stryker activates him with multiple superpowers like Wolverine's healing power, Kestrel's teleportation power, Bolt's electricity power used to enable Stryker to control him, Wade's swordsman skill, and Cyclops' laser eye power. All multiple superpower are false in the comic books except healing powers and swordsman skill. What were they thinking? Anyway, Wolverine made it to 3 Mile Island. He found Stryker, and he can't believe his eyes. Kayla was alive. She explained to him about her faking death, and she worked with Sabretooth and Stryker. Wolverine and Sabretooth are fighting one more time. for final round. Fight! In this movie. So they fight and fight and fight, and Wolverine defeats him. Wolverine wins. Anyway, Wolverine breaks the jail cell and rescues the mutants. They all ran away to escape, but suddenly, the most epic fail I ever seen in my life is Deadpool. He has no shirt, marks on his body, his mouth was closed, his head was bald, and a sword. This was totally epic fail. The mutants have to find their own way out, and Wolverine and Deadpool are fighting. The mutants are under attack by Stryker soldiers. Emma was covered with diamonds to protect the mutants, and Cyclops uses laser eyes to fire the soldiers. Kayla told the mutants to run away because she was shot. Wolverine climbs up to the top of a cooling tower. Sorry about that for... Sorry about that. But what can Deadpool do? He teleports to the top of a cooling tower and fights Wolverine. Wolverine stabs Wolverine's back, and he's ready to kill him, but there's Sabretooth. He saves Wolverine, and they are ready to finish Deadpool. Deadpool uses laser eyes to fire at them. Sabretooth was under attack by Deadpool, and Wolverine slices his neck for his final move. The cooling tower was destroyed by Deadpool's laser eyes. Sabretooth is leaving with Wolverine, and Gambit saves Wolverine from falling material from the building. Wolverine tells him to find the mutants, and he found Kayla. She was shot, and he takes her to the hospital. But suddenly, Wolverine got shot by Stryker. He's really angry. He's going to kill him, and Stryker shot him in the forehead 2 times. Kayla grabbed his leg, makes him throw the gun down, and walks slowly away. The mutants found Professor X, and he looks weird for that CGI effects. Ugh, that looks bad. Anyway, so he rescued the mutants and gets in the helicopter. But what about the X-Jet? Gambit found the mutants and he runs away. Wolverine woke up, Gambit was back, and Wolverine doesn't know him because his memory's gone. Because he got shot by Stryker on his forehead, you know. Wolverine found a woman dead body that was Kayla, and he doesn't know her. Gambit is leaving, and Wolverine is going to find his own way. In the mid-credits, MPs found Stryker and asked him about the death of his superior, General Munson. After the credits, spoiler alert, Deadpool is still alive. What will happen next? Nothing. Nothing. So that's my review of X-Men Origins Wolverine, one of the worst X-Men film I ever seen in my life. But don't worry, I'll review X-Men First Class next time.